Hey there, YouTube. It's Stephen Michael McDowell, aka Buttercup, aka Space God, aka Spatium Deus in the Latin. I just accidentally pressed play on this, so I guess I'm making a video. Welcome to day 12 of Veda, vlog every day in April. Tonight I want to talk about, I don't know yet. There's a part of me. There is an epithet of my multitudinous deity that wishes to talk specifically about genetic drift and how the human species got here and how interesting it is. We may or may not have all started in Africa. I'm pretty sure that it started in Africa. But some people have some arguing opinions about this. Um, and like talking about how the different groups of humans, like either under survival pressure or because like, oh, let's go out and explore, decided to walk really far. Having walked really far recently, I don't really think that it's likely, though. They were just like, hey, let's walk really far. But that's ultimately what we ended up doing. We spread out across the entire planet up to 15,000 years ago. Like up to 15,000 years ago, when was the last time that a person like stepped on a new rock and was like, okay, I'm the first person to do this, Which is really interesting because you think about, what happened tens of thousands of years later. Oh, not tens, 10,000 years later, even more than that, 10,450 years later, when Columbus sailed the ocean blue and discovered America, and found that it was entirely inhabited by millions of people. You know, you know, you know. This is the reason why people are like, "Fuck Columbus Day," and I feel the same way. It's just like there was a whole lot of people here before you got here, and because you came here, they all died. Great job. Awesome job. Yeah, okay. Well, now that they're all dead, let's just take over their land. So tonight I went out drinking and smoking the weed and playing video games with my friend. And tonight I just like kind of wanted to like free ball it. I kind of wanted to freewheel it. And because I mean, it's late as fuck for one reason, but then secondly, like I actually earnestly wanted to do this. I was watching Star Trek, which was catching up with the theme of some aspects of my video yesterday. But I don't really know where I want to go with it. There was another aspect. There was another epithet of my multitudinous deity that wanted to talk about. Um, the implications. I want to talk about the implications of imagining a world where as a species, we are able to go off and colonize, quote unquote, colonize currently uninhabitable planets, and like what it means that the lowest common denominator of humanity is able to do that versus it only being white moneyed people. Is that like a difficult thing to wrap one's mind around? I can imagine that like if there was some sort of like Mars colonization thing, that it would be mostly white people, maybe even up to half Asian people, and maybe a few black or Latinx people, or like some Southeast Asian people, or like like I'm saying, like the ratios would be not representative of the populace of the planet. Does that make sense? Because okay, maybe people don't know the populace of the planet. There are a billion white people. There are a billion Euro descended people. Actually, not even that. There are 800 million white people distributed over the planet. It might be more than that, but it's somewhere between 800 and 900 million white people, as they self-deem themselves. Otherwise, I would just say European or Caucasian or something like that, Euro descended. And so they make up that much of the population. Altogether, there's 7 billion. There's a billion people who live in Africa who are black. Or there's a billion people in Africa and in the diaspora who are black. There are a billion people in South Asia who are, considered brown to some degree. Between South Asia and the Middle East, that's like a billion and a half. And then there's a little bit over a billion. I'd say like maybe 1.5 billion East Asian people. So 1.5 plus 1.5 is 3, and then you've got a billion white people, 4, and then people in Africa, 5, and then you've got the people in all of South America, and yeah, altogether it ends up being 7 billion. I'm not specific about the race demographics, even though I just tried to say that there were numbers about it. It was more my drunk brain being like, I've seen this information somewhere, and like assimilating it. But like, understanding that like that the ratios just are not like, the white people are a minority globally. They are like less than a seventh of everybody, less than a seventh of everybody. But the version of the world that we imagine there being this type of like going out and traveling, traversing space, they're all already being like artificial gravity and light speed travel and all this other bullshit that like we haven't even begun to we haven't begun to begin to understand how to do. Like we haven't even mastered nanotechnology. How the fuck are we gonna replicate things in that like resemble and taste exactly like food? How? Just how? Just tell me how? How the fuck? But like in that world where we've imagined all these other things, we also imagine that it's only white people who will be able to do it. And I was telling a friend, the same friend that I went out with tonight, that Elon Musk has this plan, this like long-term plan of like by 2100 there being like a functional space colony, or like a multiplanetary colony on Mars. And like my question is like, who going there? Like who's gonna be going there? Is it gonna be all white people? Because if it's all white people, then I don't want like we shouldn't be there yet. You know, like I would rather the Earth go to shit under the conditions that we set for it than to allow just white people to go live on Mars. If I can't imagine a black, fat, trans woman living on Mars with the rest of the colonists, if I can't imagine an entire community of fat, black, trans, disabled, mentally ill, trans women living on Mars, then we shouldn't be able to go there. Like and if you're one of the people who like asks, but why? The answer to that question is, or like, if you're one of the people who ask the question, but why? The answer to that question is, fuck you. Just, that's it. No, actually, no, fuck you. That's it. That's the reason. That's the reason why. If you're one of the people who says, yeah, but like, it's more important for humanity to progress and be able to like take these steps in case our planet becomes uninhabitable, then my answer to that is, yeah, I agree. But if we don't live in the fucking imaginary utopia that Star Trek lived in before they became multiplanetary, or if we don't have some sort of like grander understanding of like what it means to be human, and like incorporating everybody and all of their multitudinous epithets and identities into what it means to be human, then it's not worth the initial, like we have not achieved the hallmark that would justify us being able to go off planet, because we fucked everything on this planet, and we've like sent a ton of shit. Have you like seen the model of all the space debris that's out there? There's so much shit that we just like, we're like, oh, sorry, it doesn't work anymore, fuck it, and just left it in orbit. Like we have an entire series of like a million moons that are just things that don't work, that are out in space, that are surrounding our planet. And you like think that the image of the Earth at night with all the lights on is harrowing. Like if you were able to see how much shit we sent up there and that is just up there, like that's our legacy. Like someone is going to come to this dead planet that is just covered in just like miles and miles miles it's more than miles, like tens of thousands. I don't remember how many miles it is around the entire Earth. It might be like, I'm not even gonna try to estimate because I can't remember, but like it's just a long distance of things like, you know, that have been appropriated from within this planet, jettisoned up into the sky, mined from inside the earth and placed on the surface of it, and it's just littered with this shit. And like, if this is our legacy, then we don't deserve to do that to another place. We just don't. Like, that's my that's how I feel about this. I'm not normally a judgmental person, but someone got me drunk and angry enough tonight that this is how I feel. So, uh, yeah, I guess that's that. I guess that's that. If you don't agree with me, why don't you tell me in the comments? While you're at it, why don't you like and subscribe, even if you disagree with me? If you do agree with me, I would like to hear some extrapolations on, like, yeah, I would like to hear some, girl, yeah, right, like, you know, and you know what else? Like, that's what I would like to hear in the comments if you do agree with me. And if you do, also like, comment, and subscribe. This name is B Cup. That's my nickname. Stephen Michael McDowell, aka B Cup. This is your gender non-conforming dudix. Signing off. Veda Day 12. Talking about space. Drunk as shit. Tonight was lit as shit. Tonight was lit as shit. Good night.